I'm going to make a screencast of the nutrition accountant that I do in CookBookPlus. And I'll do it for October the 30th, 2025. There were 3 meals involved. This is breakfast, lunch, and supper. We'll start with breakfast. To help through the screencast, I'm going to be making use of Epic Pen, which you can see here. I usually run it in ghost mode, which keeps the UI hidden, and I just use shortcut keys to turn on and off the tools. The one I'll be using basically will be the rectangle tool. So I'll hide it. Now I'm going to screencast this and capture it in Camtasia 2025 Recorder. So let's open the instance of Recorder. I need to configure it to do screen, microphone, but I don't want system audio. I have this configured so that it basically stays minimized until I do a capture. Let's go ahead and screencast this information for breakfast. First thing I do is I use Control-Shift-R to turn on Epic Pen's rectangle tool, and we can confirm that by doing Control-Shift-0. You can see it's turned on. I'll hide it again. So I've got the rectangle enabled. And then I'll use F9 to start Recorder. I'll use F9 now. And it's actually running. And then I'll go. This will be nutrition review for October the 30th, 2025. Breakfast. This meal was egg, corned beef hash, breakfast, 592 total calories. Very high amount of fat in the meal at 47%, 29 grams of protein. When that's done, I'm going to use F10 to end that capture, and I'll call it a 1 enter key. So now that I have my first clip, we'll go back to the app, and we'll navigate to the next meal, which will be lunch. We'll make the same drill here, and I'll turn on the rectangle tool, Control-Shift-R. It should be on, and then I'll launch Recorder, F9. Lunch. This was a soup with yogurt and fruit lunch. 637 total calories. Very low amount of fat in this meal, only 11%. 27 grams of protein. I'll save that capture with F10, and I'll call it 02. And as you can see, it automatically went into the editor in 2025. We'll go back to the CookBookPlus app. Now I'll re-enable the rectangle tool with Control-Shift-R. And we're ready to go ahead and do the third capture here. So we'll use F9 to start Recorder 2025. Supper. This was a hamburger with French fries, a little ice cream and fruit for dessert. 964 total calories. Medium amount of fat in this meal at 36%. 33 grams of protein. I'll stop the recording with F10, and we'll call it 03, enter key. We're in the app, and let me go ahead and turn off the Epic Pen tool. We'll go back to CookBookPlus, and now we'll proceed to the next section. So we're going to do F9 to start Recorder. We'll open the daily calorie snapshot report. I'm going to engage the rectangle tool, Control-Shift-R. These are the 3 meals we consumed today. Did not log any exercise. Between the 3 meals, we consumed 2193 total calories. Percent of fat for the day was 32% on average. Our BMR is 2173. Because of that, we were over the daily budget by 20 calories. We consumed 88 grams of protein. I'll turn off the rectangle. We'll close the snapshot report. And I'll stop that capture with F10. I'll call it 04, enter key. We'll go back to the CookBookPlus app. And we'll do the last capture in this series. So once again, I'll start recorder with F9. And then I'll say, we'll open the nutrition history report. I'll turn on the rectangle tool, Control-Shift-R. This report covers the preceding 16 days. During that period of time, we averaged 2256 calories every day with an average fat content of 35.8%. Did not log any exercises during the period. Considering our BMR's 2173, we were on average over our daily budget by 83 calories every day. Accordingly, the report estimates that we may have gained 0.38 pounds during the period. Also, during the period, we averaged 348 protein calories a day. Our goal is 100 grams or 400 calories. I'll turn off the rectangle tool. I'll close the history report. And that concludes nutrition review for October the 30th, 2025. Now we're in that last capture with F10. Call it 05, enter key. And as you can see, all those captures are now into the editor in the open instance of Camtasia 2025. At this point, I'm going to ripple replace each one of these captures into each one of these placeholders. They're on track 1 in my template. So I'll select the first placeholder. Placeholder's been configured with things like cursor effects, stuff like that, so it makes it easier to quickly build out this project. Anyway, with it selected, select the first clip, right click, ripple replace, go. And it pops in there. I'll navigate to and select the next placeholder. Then I will select the next clip, right click, ripple replace, same drill, navigate to the next, select it, select, right click, ripple replace, go for it. And we'll go to the end of that, select, fourth clip, right click, ripple replace, go. And we'll yak that, select, and then it's select, right click, ripple replace, go. And we'll Control-Shift-7 here. And those are all the clips that will go into this guy, and I don't need these extra placeholders. Select them and delete them. And I'm going to save this project, Control-S, and give it a name, DNR-2025-10. And this is for the 30th, so we'll do that, enter key. I've got my project started to build with a named name. Next, I'll send the playhead home, zoom in a little bit. Looks like my marker is close enough for working with it. I need to get rid of this, so I'll select it, delete it. Normally, I would use it to cut out any excess space between the marker and the start of narration, but we're okay here. I would then play through each one of these clips and make any edits based upon how I just captured this. There are really no material errors. We'll just pretend I found them and got rid of them. After all those edits were made, in my template here, Control-Shift-7, and I'm going to unlock this track or unblock it. Drag this down, Control-U. This is my branding asset. I'll select this guy here. It's my ending note, Control-X, N key puts the playhead down there. I'll right click on that open track and do a paste. Zoom in a little bit and drag this down, and then I'll back off one frame, and I'm confirming that this guy's in the right place, and he is. Control home. I'll then need to put a date in here. I'll select, double tap until I get in there, and then I'll put the date I want to see. It's going to be 30 OCT 2025. Boom. Control Shift U, and then I have to update the production date. Today's actually the 31st, so I'll select it and drill into it. Change this to 31. Click out. Control U, Control 7. Control Shift Z. Control S saves all those changes. Then I need to finish off the configuration by moving my branding down to the end. Control N back 1. And that added this little watermark and this audio ring here, that's all. And we put that in there. Control Shift S to save it again. And now what I'm going to be doing is producing each one of these sections as its own MP4 because I'm going to need to upload them to screencast.com, let it automatically create a transcript from the narration. I'll use that transcript to run it through Notepad++ and then Microsoft Word, and then use Read Aloud in Windows 11 to get a AI-generated voice to substitute for the narration that's in the original. So, back in the project here, it's Control-Shift-Alt, right arrow until I make that first selection. Then it's right-click, export selection as. I don't care if it has a watermark. Couple of tabs, selects the title. I'm going to call it Breakfast. And we'll export that as an MP4. Looks like that's finished. Enter key closes that. Control-Shift-D. Puts the playhead at the beginning of the next section. Control-Shift-Alt, right arrow, selects the next one. I would repeat the same thing. I'll produce an MP4, calling this one Lunch, Supper. Third one here is going to be called Snapshot, and this will be History. I'll do that off camera to save a little time here. I've completed creating the last MP4 for this section. Send the playhead home here. Control home. And I'm going to save this project again, but I'm going to save it to a new location. So that's Alt F8. And I'm going to copy over this guy. First thing I'm going to do is select everything in the current project, Control A, it's on the timeline, and then delete it. Then back in here, in the bin, I'm going to import those MP4s we just made. I deleted unused media, and then it's Control I. We'll re-import those MP4s. Now I can put them on the timeline. And they're in the right order, so right-click, Add, Breakfast, Lunch, Supper, blah, blah. Looks pretty good. I'll save it again, Control S. Since they're all selected, I'm going to go to X to get to Visual Properties and add clip speed to all those guys, because I'm going to need that in the forthcoming steps. We'll go back to B. Next, I'm going to navigate to my screencast.com, and we're in the library, so I'm going to upload some files. I'm going to upload those MP4s we just made, so I'll select them all, open, I'll take a few seconds to get in. It's pretty quick. They're very short. All right, they're all there. I can close this. And what I'll do is I'll let this sit for a while because I need to have all these videos processed so that transcripts of the narration are automatically created. I have a Screencast Pro account. I will use the text in those transcripts to create a new voiceover. So we're going to stop this capture. The transcripts get produced pretty quickly. We'll go to the first one, breakfast here, and see if it's available. I can see that it is. We'll click on that. There's the transcript. I'll select all of it. Control C puts it on the clipboard. Go over to an open instance of Notepad++. Delete key clears the current stuff. Control V, paste that. Control Home, puts the cursor at the top. Now I've got a couple of macros that clean this up. So we'll do clear transcript first. That'll remove all these time hacks. Run till the end. You can see it did it. Select, Control Home, puts the cursor back up there. I have another macro that will take all this text and put it into a single paragraph. So run, run, run. It's done. Select Control A, Control C. Now I'll go over to an open instance of Microsoft Word. Control A, delete, Enter key, Control V. So now if we look at this, Control Home, this is what the actual text for that first caption should say. This will be nutrition review, breakfast, egg, corned beef hash, calories, blah, blah, blah. That looks good. Now I have Windows 11 Read Aloud already open here. You can see it. I need to go to Recorder and configure it just to capture system audio. And I have it configured to stay minimized until I'm using it. So with this selected, it's F9 to start the capture. Tap to get the focus and then play.
This will be nutrition review for October 30th, 2025. Breakfast. This meal was an egg, corned beef hash breakfast, 592 total calories, very high amount of fat in the meal at 47%, 29 grams of protein.
And then I'll end that capture with F10. And because it went with the first capture in the series, I'm going to call it O1A for audio, Enter key. And if we go back to Screencast, go back to my library, I would follow the same procedure in order for lunch, supper, snapshot, and history. I'm going to do that off camera because, just to save a little time. Okay, those 5 narration AI voices are now in the bin. What I'm going to do is select them all and send them to the timeline on track 2. Notice that they're shorter than the original, and that's because the AI voice runs faster. I'm going to turn on magnetic track for both of these tracks. That'll help in doing the editing, and I'll zoom in here. What I need to do to begin with is to get rid of this extra space at the beginning. So I'm going to select this and pull it back to the narration start at about the same time. Got a little extra narration at the end here. I'll pull that back to shorten it. Now I'm going to kill off the gain on the original. Open this using clip speed. Pull this back until I match the time with the new narration. And now I'm going to play it and see how it sounds and looks.
This will be nutrition review for October 30th, 2025. Breakfast. This meal was an egg, corned beef hash breakfast, 592 total calories, very high amount of fat in the meal at 47%, 29 grams of protein.
Okay, that one worked. We'll do the same thing for the second here. Again, Now what I can do is take a look at these and select this, kill off the audio in the original, use the clip speed, and I'll pull this back so they're the same. Anyway, I'm just adjusting it so that the new audio fits within the old video frame that's been sped up to match the timing. So we'll go back here and play it.
Lunch. This was soup with yogurt and fruit. 637 total calories, very low amount of fat in this meal, only 11%, 27 grams of protein.
Okay, off camera, I'm going to finish off the rest of them in the same manner. Back in our project, I've completed adjusting the original video durations with silenced audio to the new audio clips. And if we play it, this is what we hear.
This will be nutrition review for October 30th, 2025.
And having done all that, and with the project saved, I would go ahead, save this as a zip, save a first frame for hosting purposes, and then I would go ahead and produce this video using this title, and that completes the process of going through and doing these nutrition review screencasts. Substituting Read Aloud voice for the original human narration.